Dobrý den, dámy a pánové, já vás vítám u dalšího videa ze hry Alan Wake. Minule se skončí tím, jak jsme se dostali do nějaké této kliniky a stále nevíme, jak jsme se sem dostali, takže uvidíme, co nám řeknou lidé, kteří tady jsou v této klinice. Tak půjdeme ven. OK, takže se odsud asi jen tak nedostaneme. Nějaký pán. Toho známe.
Good evening, Alan. Are we feeling better now? Feeling calm?
Yeah. I see you brought your pet gorilla with you. So sure, I'm calm. I get the message. Loud and clear.
Quite right. That's the spirit. You're being very brave, Alan. I understand you're confused. I would be more concerned if you weren't suspicious of me. I don't blame you for it.
Big of you.
Now, why don't you come with me? We'll reacquaint you with my clinic and go over everything you might have forgotten. Little walk and some fresh air? Yes, it will do you good.
OK, když to říkáš, bude to pravda.
This corridor is for patients. Most of them aren't here right now. Jack took them out for a fishing trip, except for the ones who are particularly vulnerable, of course.
Tak tady vidíte toho Hartmana, to je ta jeho knížka, o kterém mluvila i Alice. A tady, když se podíváme, když půjdeme sem, tak je tady takový easter egg. Vidíte Xbox 360, tady je i samotný Xbox, taková divná televize a je tady místo Alan Wake napsáno Night Springs. Takže takový menší easter egg tady. Budeme teda za tím doktorem Hartmanem.
I specialize in treating artists.
I bet you do.
Splendid, Alan. I honestly believe we can get this thing under control if we work together.
Ale stále nechápu, jak jsme se sem dostali, což je trošku podivný teda. Tak, ale než se ještě vydáme za doktorem Hartmanem, sice si bude muset chlapec chviličku počkat, my se podíváme na tuto hezkou scenérii. Tak a pustím a necháme si přečíst všechny rukopisy, které jsme, dalo by se říct, všechny získali v předchozí kapitole, nebo respektive epizodě a necháme si je opět před Alanem přečíst. Takže první Randolph volá policii.
Mr. Randolph liked Rose. That little smile she had. How she was still sweet when life had tried so hard to make her bitter. It wasn't any of his business what she did in her trailer. But those strangers, the writer and his smart-ass sidekick, looked like trouble. And they'd been in there for hours, way past her normal bedtime. He reached for the phone and called the sheriff's station. For decades, the darkness that wore Barbara Jagger's skin slept fitfully in the dark place that was its home and prison. It was hungry and in pain. It dreamed of its nights of glory when the poet's writing had called it from the depths and given it a brief, terrible taste of power and freedom. The rock stars had stirred it from the deep sleep the poet had sunk it back to in the end. When it sensed the writer on the ferry, it opened its eyes. Nightingale stared through the broken studio window into the dark woods. He turned around, started to walk out, but Maine grabbed his arm. "Young man, you almost shot me. You don't shoot off rounds at people like that. What's the matter with you?" Nightingale shook his arm free, marched out, his cheeks burned with rage and humiliation. Sarah trusted her gut, and her gut said Agent Nightingale was an asshole. He felt wrong, and it wasn't just the smell of stale booze. It was in the way he flashed his badge, pulled rank, the look in his eyes when he wanted answers. Where was Alan Wake? What was this about an accident? Where was his wife? And most importantly, why did she let Wake go? He wouldn't answer her questions. Federal business was all he'd say. The pipe wrenched itself loose from the bridge's steel framework. Wrapped in darkness, it floated in midair, twitching. For a moment, I didn't understand what I was looking at. The heavy object lurched at me with impossible force. I threw myself out of the way, but just barely. When I turned my flashlight on it, it shook in a dark rage before it flew at me again. I slammed the door shut right in his smug face. He pleaded for me to open the door. True to form, the asshole actually thought I would obey. I had no sympathy left, no guilt either, not for him. I took a moment to savor the scream. I bet I had a smile on my face. It was all that I had time for. The dark presence was inside the lodge with me. The darkness surged towards me, sucking everything loose from the ground into its depths, tugging at my clothes. I saw the flare the kidnapper had dropped and threw myself towards it just as I felt my feet leave the ground. The darkness embraced me with the force of a tornado. Somehow I managed to light the flare. The darkness roared and cast me away. I fell toward the dark waters of the lake far below. Rose didn't know how the strange old lady got in her trailer, and she looked wrong somehow. The woman showed her teeth in an approximation of a smile and traced a finger down Rose's cheek. "Pretty girl," she said. Rose felt as if she was falling asleep, but her knees didn't buckle. The crone spoke in a whisper, her words ice cold and dark in Rose's ear. Touched by the dark presence, Rose was lost in a dreamland where everything was drawn in black and gray crayons. The old lady had promised her that all her wishes would come true. She would be Alan Wake's muse. She was smiling so hard it hurt her face. She crushed a bottle full of sleeping pills into the coffee. Deep down inside, she was screaming in terror. Danny had stepped out, but what stumbled back in was something else. Something alien. A monster. Walter tried to kill it, first with his fists, then a chair. It wouldn't die. Instead, it kept coming, unaffected by the beating it had taken. After Walter managed to kick it down the cellar stairs, fear took over. He ran, got behind the wheel, gunned the engine. The booze wouldn't make him forget, but he knew he had to try. The bulldozer's engine roared to life. Mud and rocks flew as it fought for traction. It crashed through the concrete wall and landed heavily in the yard. If it were an animal, it would have shaken its head after the impact, fixed its eyes on me, and charged. Of course, it had no head, nor eyes. Shadows crawled on its form, twisting it into a monster. Then, it came for me. With Nightingale gone and the night wind blowing in through the broken studio window, Maine stared at Sarah. The sheriff looked away. Maine's voice shook with barely controlled anger. "That boy's doing more drinking than thinking. I hope you know what you're doing, Sarah. He's got a sickness in his eyes. You take my word for it. He wants Wake for a reason, and it's not for anything good." When Thomas Zane fell for Barbara Jagger, it happened fast. She was young, vibrant, and beautiful, full of life. He had never been a very happy man, and without any seeming effort, she had changed all that. Zane felt good for the first time in his life. Everything she did was another piece of a jigsaw puzzle he hadn't even known he'd been missing. And best of all, she made the words flow, strong and sharp. She was his muse. Some of the taken retained echoes of their former selves, but these were just the nerve twitches of a dead thing. Nothing remained but a shell covered and filled with darkness. In most cases, these puppets were enough for the purposes of the dark presence. But for anything more elaborate, as with the writer, it was different. It needed his mind. And so rather than taking him over completely, it merely touched him. I stared through the bars of the jail cell. Barry stood behind me, swaying on his feet, looking as ill as I felt. Agent Nightingale stood on the other side of the bars with Sheriff Breaker. Nightingale had a stack of manuscript pages in his hand. He seemed unhinged as he gloated. "Well, I've got you now, Raymond Chandler. It's all here, all the evidence, including conspiracy to murder a federal agent." Things were never as simple in real life as in fiction. I had lost count of the times I had wished there'd be a clear reason for my writer's block. Something to fight, something to lash out on. There wasn't. I was filled with doubt. I was nothing like the hero in my books. Alex Casey had gone through his life with single-minded determination, never wavering from his goal. Even now, I was angry at myself, angry at Alice, angry at Barry. I was fumbling and I had no plan. Even behind the closed doors and curtains of his grimy room at the Majestic, the local motel, Nightingale could feel the locals' eyes on him, the unrelenting pressure of their judgment. He forced it out of his mind. For all he knew, they could all be under Wake's spell already. You do what you have to do to get the job done. He took comfort from the bottle in his hand. Please, he thought, just let me get through this. Maud had checked all of Stucky's rental cabins. There had been no sign of the Wakes. It was dark when he'd found their car parked at the end of the road by Cauldron Lake. It made no sense. They must have taken a wrong turn, but there was no sign of them, and the car had been there for hours already. Frustrated, Mott stood on the rotten ruin of the footbridge that had once led to Diver's Isle before it sank beneath the waves years ago. The boss wouldn't be happy. I tried to hold on to Alice, but her form melted away. I was losing control. Dr. Hartman stood in her place. I wanted to hit him, but my arms were jelly. He smiled. It was a reassuring smile, and I hated him for it. I had to give you a sedative. Don't fight it. You went through another rough period. Right now, it's very important that you stay calm. We don't want you to have another episode. You're a patient at my clinic. Have been for a while now. For Mott, spying on the writer on the ferry had been a disappointment. His boss had made Wake out to be something special, but Mott hadn't been impressed. He'd gotten a good long look at the wife, though, and he liked what he saw. Mott had fantasized about goading Wake into a fight, but it hadn't happened. Still, he'd get his chance to see if the writer had anything in him. He'd been promised as much. The hunters were big, thick-set men, confident and at home in the woods. They were feeling good, running on beer, ghost stories, and camaraderie late into the night. It did them no good, as they were taken by the dark presence, sucked deep into a darkness far worse than any ghost story they ever told or heard. Lightning flashed behind the windows of Cauldron Lake Lodge. Tor Anderson laughed and held the steel hammer above his head. Nurse Sinclair was trying to calm him down without success. Tor grinned madly and shouted, "My hammer's up. Here's a friendly poke from Molnir, wench." He brought the hammer down with all his might on Sinclair's head. "We're on a comeback tour, baby."
Tak, to byly všechny rukopisy v této, nebo respektive té předchozí kapitole, bylo jich opravdu trošičku více. Já se jenom podívám, kolik mi schválně chybí tady. Tady mi chybí jenom jedna stránka, takže doufám, že ji najdeme. Tak a teď už konečně, po tom, co nám Alan odvyprávěl všechno, co měl ve svých rukopisech, tak budeme i samozřejmě pokračovat. A půjdeme za tím doktorem Hartmanem do toho výtahu. Ahoj, čeká se dlouho asi, viď?
Now, Alan, from past experience with you, I know I need to get right into the heart of the matter as quickly as I can after an episode. So I'm just going to say this. Alice is dead.
No.
You're in a very vulnerable state until you understand and accept this. Alice drowned, and you couldn't face that. You're suffering from hallucinations, paranoid delusions, unusual thinking, an obsession about light and darkness, a feeling that everything revolves around you, your thoughts and dreams. Your mind has constructed an elaborate fantasy scenario in which your writings are affecting reality. She has been kidnapped and supernatural forces of darkness are trying to stop you. We go this way, Alan.
I wasn't ready for another shot, so I went along with it. He had to be lying. But under the influence of the drug he had given me, I had to fight not to believe his words.
It's all in your head. You've been making it up. Apart from the tragic accident with your wife, no one has been killed. Your delusions are just a manifestation of your subconscious mind trying to protect you from the too painful truth. Unless we fight the fantasy, it will return. I know the instinct is to resist me, but think about it. Doesn't this make far more sense than the insane supernatural conspiracy you have concocted in your mind? You're a skeptic by nature, Alan. We both know this. Everything can be explained logically.
Takže vidíte, že jsme se Teda teď nám řekl doktor Hartman, že opravdu Alice je mrtvá a snaží se nás přesvědčit o tom, že už jsme tady pěkně dlouhou dobu. Vidíte, že opravdu se zamotal ten příběh ještě více, protože před chviličkou jsme ještě byli na Milenském vrchu a nyní se nacházíme na nějaké klinice, na které už jsme údajně nějakou dobu a vypadá to, že se nám to všechno jenom zdálo. Musím říct, že opravdu opět zase pěkné prostředí a je tady to dynamické počasí, což je tak úžasný. A tam, když se podíváte dolů, tak je Golden Lake, tamhle, přesně pod náma. Takže a je vidět, že tam nikde není žádný srub, takže asi opravdu všichni mají pravdu. Tak co mi řekneš dál? Doktore? Teď jsme asi řekl všechno. V této části, že ty mi ještě řekneš něco jiného k počasí určitě. Když už se není o čem bavit, budeme se bavit o počasí, můžeš jít, děkuji. Tak, teď půjdeme sem doleva. Teď jsou pěkný sluneční hodiny, tohle je fakt pěkný. Za stíny, jež si zvolil za svůj domov, se nachází osvětný zázrak, Thomas Zane, na památku drahého přítele a básníka.
I never get tired of this view. Very inspiring, isn't it?
Cauldron Lake spread below us. I could see Mirror Peak on the other side of the lake. I thought I could make out the spot where Diver's Isle had been when I arrived with Alice. Now there was nothing but waves.
It seems there's a storm coming. Funny, I don't recall there being a mention of that in the weather forecast. Well, no matter. This way, follow me.
Ano, opravdu se tady mění počasí a začíná být bouřka.
Every time you have a relapse, it gets more and more difficult to resurface from the dark depths of your imagination. Not surprising, considering your profession. Imagination is what you work with. After all your nightmares, this should come as an immense relief to you. If it doesn't, why is that? Because I'm lying? Or because you don't want to admit that you're not well? It's very natural for you to think of me as your enemy. It's part of the illness.
I let him talk. Hartman obviously loved his own voice. His words echoed madly inside my head. I dug my nails into the palms of my hands to stay focused. You need to work with me.
Once you accept that, we can begin the journey towards your recovery. Come along. Let's go inside.
To je nejlepší, když někoho nechceme poslouchat, tak prostě ho přestaneme vnímat, i když si říká, co chce. Ahoj.
Here's the entrance to the office wing. That's for staff only. You were impressed by my trophies when you first arrived here. I do love to hunt. The great outdoors, man versus nature. It's wonderful stuff.
Pretty damn wonderful, yeah.
To je úplně úžasná hra, ano. Dobrý den, pane.
Scary, scary, scary.
Emerson.
I'm a real bad dream, mister. You should be afraid of me. Don't want to run into me in the night, that's for sure.
Please, Emerson. Mr. Wake is confused enough as it is.
Yeah, you'd like me to go away so you won't be scared. But you can't just decide what kind of dream you have or when you have it.
Emerson.
Okay, sorry. Ew.
That's Emerson. We're actually making some progress with him, I'm happy to say. He works on video
Elbow
games.
strike. Ooh,
It's
yeah.
trash, of course, but it does involve some small creative effort, which makes him receptive to my therapeutic methods.
No kidding.
Come, Alan, this way.
Tak tady jsme si trošku poslechli, jak paní zpívá.
Oh, hello. I've painted you.
Okay.
I was just struck by inspiration a couple of days ago. Dr. Hartman wanted me to paint landscapes, and that's what I was doing. But now I've been doing these things, a lot of them. The images just keep coming. Dr. Hartman likes them. He has them in his office.
Yeah?
He's very proud of me. He says I'm getting much better. I think I'm getting better.
Nepřipadá mi to, že by mi byl teda podobný.
I guess I'd better start wrapping this up. The storm is almost here. Look at that.
Tak ale tady myslím, že je pak termoska pro ty, co se pak chtějí podívat. Tak tady, když se podíváte dozadu, tak tam by podle mě měl být termoska, ale tím se teď opravdu nejsem jistý. Tak, ale my půjdeme asi za doktorem Hartmanem opět. A můžu sem, nemůžu.
You might have noticed the typewriter in your room. You've been writing as a part of the therapy. As soon as you feel up to it, you should continue.
OK. Vítejte v Kaldrumském horském hotelu. Jsme tu, abychom vám poskytli specializovanou pomoc dle vašich potřeb. Řiďte se prosím následujícími pravidly. Požádejte rodinné příslušníky a přátele, aby si návštěvy předem domlouvali a nenarušovali tak vaši terapii či kreativní období. Také prosím respektujte právo ostatních pacientů na soukromí a jejich osobní prostor, obzvlášť když se nachází v tvůrčím procesu. A buďte trpěliví, naši pacienti většinou prochází dlouhodobou tvůrčí krizi, kterou nelze vyřešit přes noc. Nepospíchejte na sebe, nezapomeňte, že vaše zdejší léčba je dobrovolná, OK? A že její postup byl pečlivě přizpůsoben vašim potřebám. Zapojení terapie a s ní spojená metoda takzvaná TOK dosahují největšího efektu, když se do jejich tvorby aktivně zapojíte. Máte-li jakékoliv dotazy, nebojte se nám je položit. OK, budu si je pamatovat.
My rheumatism's killing me. There's a storm coming. Oh, what a storm.
I hope it wipes this place off the face of the earth.
And these two are the Anderson brothers, Odin and Thor. They had how should I put this? A heavy metal band in the 70s and 80s called Old Gods of Asgard. They even adopted new first names to complete the image of Viking gods. After the band broke up, they lived on a farm nearby. They are, well, in advanced stages of dementia. They're well cared for, TLC and all that. There's nothing more that can be done. I'm afraid that the rock and roll lifestyle has left its mark.
Oh, that won't do. I'm so sorry to cut this short for now, Alan. The power has been acting up. I'd better go check on it. We'll continue this soon. Meanwhile, when you feel up to it, return to your room and try to write. It really is for the best. Don't you think?
I'd like to bash his head in with a hammer.
Oh, he'd love to fish out our secrets, but he has no clue. He's not crazy enough. Not crazy like us, Sonny.
Yeah!
Being crazy's a requirement, Sonny. Who else could understand the world when it's like this? It takes crazy to know crazy.
That's the sanest thing I've heard in a while.
Zane! You're all right, Tom. Hey, we like him, don't we, bro? He's got to go to the farm.
The Anderson farm. Valhalla!
We wrote it all down, lest we'd forget. A crash course. All you need to know to get your head right. You need to find the message.
Here, Sonny, here's something for you. Gave me a rash, but I kept it safe from these bastards.
My head was clearing up, or according to Hartman, I was sinking back into the fantasy. I was convinced he was lying to me about everything. Crazy or not, the Andersons made more sense.
Tom, you got any booze on you?
Yeah, no. Sorry,
we have
guys.
a stash of the special stuff at the farm. Our own formula. Local ingredients. Medicine clears your head right up. Makes you remember like moonbeams on the brain.
Oh, I just noticed. Leather patches on the elbows? That's not very rock and roll.
Tom just lost is all. Baba Yaga got to him too, the damn witch.
She used us all. Taken from all of us. Took my thunder, the witch.
And my ravens, what were they? Memory and thought, the hag.
She took something from you too, didn't she? That's what she does.
We're better off. This place, the lake, it gives you power. If you're a creator, an artist, God.
Nightmare shifted in their sleep in the darkness of the lake.
Yeah, that's the one. She makes sure it comes out twisted and wrong. Just ask the lamp lady. She knows what happened to that other rider.
She's been using you, boy, and you let her. You went and opened the door for her, didn't you?
Now, it was already open a crack. And whose fault is that? We're morally corrupt, disease-ridden, old and stupid.
Doesn't mean he had to open it all the way, goddammit.
Takže jsme dostali teda od Andersonu úkol, abychom se dostali na jejich farmu, a vy už buďte ticho, já chci taky mluvit. Aby jsme se dostali na jejich farmu a kde bychom teoreticky měli najít další informace, co se vlastně s náma děje. Ale to si necháme samozřejmě až na příště. Já určitě vím, že pro někoho tento part asi nebyl moc záživný, protože se zde nic nestalo, protože většinou to bylo jen tak příběhový part, ale i tak přesto doufám, že se vám tento part líbil. Pokud ano, určitě nezapomeňte dát palec nahoru a posléze napsat nějaký komentář a já se vás budu těšit buď zde u Alana Wakea nebo u jakéhokoliv jiného let's playe a ahoj.